like and subscribe. What is that one embarrassing moment that keeps coming back to haunt you? When I was in grade 8 we had to give a presentation on a Greek god. I chose to do my project on Zeus. However, I was nervous, and for some reason referred to him as Zeus, Jesus with a Z. The presentation was like 8 minutes long, and I said it wrong countless times. It was not until I finished the presentation a kid asked, "You do know it as pronounced Zeus, right? Jesus Christ, I'm dead." My mom threw me a graduation party. She had the party in the community room of the local rescue squad, and had a table full of food. No one came. Most of the people she invited were fellow graduates, so they had their own thing going on. We gave the food to the rescue squad people. I mostly felt horrible for my mom. Just writing this story made me feel like. And it has been 25 years since this happened. Edit. Thank you all so much for your comments and sharing your own experiences. I have not talked about this since it happened, and it has haunted me since. Reading your comments has been therapeutic and healing. I wish I could have a party with all of you. Went to the urinal to take a before a sea level meeting, and tried to squeeze out a fart out myself. I had to clean up in a stall, and call in sick from the bathroom. I exited the building out a back fire exit. Freezing up in the middle of a best man speech. My brain just went completely blank. I had never had a problem with stage fright before, so it caught me off guard, and made it worse. I was at the airport one time, and during the security check-in, one of that sappy PL stuck his hand out in front of me. I proceeded to give him a high five, thinking halos trying to be friendly, only to realize that he meant for me to wait and lean no vertical bar. Feeling red-faced thinking at it, no vertical bar. I once tried to shake a random girl's hand who was trying to hold the elevator door open for me. Got called out on it by another girl who witnessed it, and spent the rest of the elevator ride very embarrassed. Edit. Since everyone loved this, I have a few other awkward stories I posted in this thread. So yeah, this elevator handshake thing was unfortunately not an isolated incident. Asterisk one time, when I was in college, the showers on my male-only dorm floor, 4th, weren't working, so I had to walk down to the 2nd floor to shower, because each floor alternated between a boys and girls floor. Well, when I was done showering I walked back to my room, and opened my door, only things didn't look quite right. The beds were arranged differently, the decorations were different. Then I looked to my right, and there's a very shocked looking girl sitting in bed reading a book. I didn't go up enough floors. I said sorry and closed the door, and rushed back to my room. Never saw her again. Asterisk one time, when I was in a college class I was wearing a pullover sweatshirt, and I got hot, and wanted to take it off. I was at the top of an auditorium style classroom. I stood up, and pulled it off, but my practically entire shirt ended up coming off with it. My professor had been facing the board, and turned around right as I basically had my shirt off, and raised above my head struggling to get out of the pullover. Professor got startled and yelped a bit, said he didn't know what I was doing. Whole class laughed. Asterisk told a guy I had met his son, it was his younger brother I had met. Felt like an asshole. Asterisk unbuckled my belt at the movies, because I was uncomfortable. Was with my girlfriend. Forgot it was unbuckled when I stood up, so while standing I buckled it. When I looked up an older couple was giving us bad looks. I don't remember what film it was, hoping it wasn't some Pixar movie or something. Asterisk I always do the thanks you too thing at the movies, when the attendant takes my ticket, and tells me to enjoy the show. So I was interviewing for a job in the BO industry early on in my career, and it was a panel interview with about 10 people. They asked me what would set me apart from other candidates, so I went into the normal spiel about being a fast learner and easily cross-training in multiple areas. As soon as I said that, one of the guys laughed, and a few jaws dropped, and I quickly realized that instead of saying cross-training, I said cross-dressing. What sets me apart from other candidates? Cross-dressing. I did not get the job. I was doing a stupid cleanse diet that involved drinking large amounts of psyllium husk powder. After 4 days without a bowel movement, I ended up fainting on the toilet while straining to squeeze out a huge log of. My younger brother heard me falling and hitting my head against the bathtub. He rushed in to find me passed out on the floor, naked with smeared between my legs and all down the front of the toilet. This was years ago, and my brother and I can laugh at it now, but the memory still sneaks up on me at night when I'm trying to get to sleep. My middle school did a program where a bunch of Japanese students came to visit our school for a couple weeks. I was assigned as a buddy to show someone around and stuff, and at the end of their visit here, they all took a trip to New York City. Only a few of the American students came along, but I was among them. The Japanese teachers wanted to be inclusive, so they took the mic that the bus driver uses to make announcements and kind of like awkwardly interviewed each of us in broken English, though the students didn't seem all that interested. When it was my turn, I got the typical "what do you like to do?" which I tried to shut down quickly with a simple "oh, I'm in choir, I like to sing sometimes." "Oh, why don't you sing for us?" And suddenly, the mic is in my hand. I really am not one for singing solos, especially in front of a bus full of students who probably don't know what the is going on. I guess the teacher picked up on this, so she encouraged me to sing a Christmas song, because those are the only songs that the kids would be able to sing along to in English. So I'm thinking, okay, it won't be too bad if they all join in, right? So I start. Carrot Rudolph carrot THERED carrot NOSEDR reindeer. Silence. I painfully sing the entire song, a cappella, completely solo, all eyes on me. Finally, the pain ends, and I crumble into my seat as awkward polite applause ensues. But this wasn't enough for the teacher. She wanted this to be a participatory event. And she didn't care who had to suffer in order to make that happen. So what does she do? Okay, try again, but this time everyone sing along. I pray for it to be a dream, but somehow, the mic is in my hand yet again, her expecting eyes upon me. At this point, all dignity is lost, so I figure why not? Again, I start the song. And again, I sing it completely alone. My life. When I was 13 I got my first bikini swimsuit. The top didn't have a strap on the neck or anything but just stretched across my chest. I went swimming one day with my cousins, while on vacation at my grandmother's house. I swam all day long and the bikini stayed in place just as it should. We packed up, and I threw on a t-shirt over my swimsuit for the ride home. Grandma did not go swimming with us, and was at home eating popcorn at her table when we came in. There were uncles, aunts, and older cousins at the table with her. When she saw me in my t-shirt she jokingly asked if that was all I was wearing. I said nope and proudly pulled my t-shirt over my entire chest to show her I had on a swimsuit. I watched as her face changed to shock, and she choked on her popcorn. I looked down, and what do you know? My freaking top had slid beneath my boobs, exposing them and making them stick sort of straight out, because the top was right under them. Everyone at the table just died laughing, all with red faces, putting their heads down, and pounding the table howling with laughter. So yeah, I flashed my grandma and some relatives with my boobs. I was taking a bus home from the beach years ago. When I got close to my stop, I walked to the front of the bus, so I would be ready to get off. I was wearing a denim skirt that was a bit loose, but I had been wearing it all day without a problem. Well, the denim had gotten a little wet at the beach, which made it heavy, and it sort of stretched out a bit while I sat during this 2-hour bus ride. So, as I'm standing in the front of this crowded bus, with my hands full of my belongings, I can feel my skirt begin to slide down. I didn't have any hands free to grab it, and nothing to lean against to hold it up, so it fell all the way to the floor. The passengers around me just stared, as if they were in shock. This was pre-everyone glued to their phone days. I stood there in my granny panties, wanting to cry, but I started laughing like a maniac instead. I must have looked like a total nut job. I stopped wearing skirts after that. Dresses are safer. When I was in first grade, I had just recently moved to Oklahoma. My class was doing a showcase for the school assembly in 2 weeks. We were going to do some line dancing, and I was paired up with a boy I really liked for part of the routine. I practiced like a maniac in an attempt to assimilate to my new country La Smartersa way of life. I guess I had forgotten to give a note to my parents saying that they wanted us to wear cowboy boots for the performance. I showed up to the showcase in flip-flops. The partner section starts happening and I am kicking my legs like I am a rocket. My flip-flop flies off into the crowd and hits an older kid in the face. I immediately stop in the middle, but the people behind me did not get the memo that I launched a projectile into the crowd. The person behind me runs into me and falls into the crowd. This has a domino effect and causes a mini pile-up of 7-year-olds. I hobble off the stage into the bathroom with only one flip-flop. I cried while I waited for my teacher to give me back my shoe. I was working at the flower department at a grocery store. It was Mother's Day, one of the busiest days for flower shops. End of day. I am tired, sweaty and I kinda hate flowers at this point. Guy comes in when we're closing in 10 and I am like the audacity internally, but I paste a smile on my face and ask how I can help. He apologizes for being so last minute and I shake off any frustration I am feeling. People work and maybe he just hasn't had time. It is okay. He asks for something nice, but low budget. All the nice stuff is long gone, but still, I'll do what I can. He says fix me up something nice, like I spent more than I can. I have a soft heart. I will hook him up. I say sure, I'll make it look like it cost you an arm and a leg, haha. He holds up a stump, where an arm usually resides, and says at least an arm anyway, waving it at me. And then I died. And then there was a time I weighed my boob in chemistry class, and got busted, and the whole class saw me. But I think the stump is the worst. Edit, thanks for the shiny stuff. People keep asking how much my boob weighed. It was a balanced scale, so it was pretty hard to get an accurate measurement. It was a long time ago, but I want to say around 3 pounds. Something like that. Just started dating this girl. She is half Korean. I go to her parents' Korean church. The whole way there they were explaining how I was going to be greeted by the pastor, and I was supposed to be as respectful as possible. Well, seeing that he was Korean, he had quite the accent. He greeted those in front of me, welcome welcome. My dumb thought he was saying where from. So in front of the church and my GF parents, of whom I just had met, I got up and yelled Nick Purvis Bowie Maryland. He looked extremely confused, did not bore vertical bar just stared at me, and letter us just so vertical bar her parents were at super hyped. One time in college I walked right out of a presentation I gave without taking questions. I genuinely forgot to ask or answer. Honestly? That's a power move. Your questions, I just told you everything. Made music and uploaded them to YouTube. A group of friends laughed at my music without knowing I was the producer. I laughed with them. Gave up on my music career. I now only make music for myself. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.